Welcome to Feel Good Talk, Love 101. I'm Naeem Najib, and this looks like a quick solo show because it was short notice that I had something on my agenda later on at the normal scheduled time. So, still wanted to get something in, good word in, about healing toxic relationships. So, you know that this conversation podcast is dedicated to opening our minds about other ways of looking at love and healthy relationships and also toxic relationships. And that's all relationships, not just romantic. And it's interesting that the word relationship is hijacked to say, hey, if you're in a relationship, it means are you in a romantic sexual relationship? Meaning when we're in a relationship with so many different people and things, including ourselves, relationships with your friends, family, co-workers, and with your health, your finances, with your schedule, right? Your relationship with so many things with your environment, but it gets waylaid and constrained into this narrow box of romantic relationships. Last week's show was on the 14th, which was also the official Valentine's Day, and we talked about that. Me and Clarence were here talking about that and different things and other ways to broaden our idea around it. And it basically came down to appreciation, how to use any time as a means to express appreciation to each other. Call it what you want: birthday, anniversary day, Valentine's Day, Tuesday, or your Wednesday, like that. So, today, what do we want to talk about? I'm going to open the floor to anyone who's live. I know it's in abnormal times. I don't really think anyone's going to, our normal people will be on, but if you are, go ahead and I invite you to share some thoughts and insights and comments and questions. We are just opening this time and space to discuss all types of relationships and healing toxic relationships. So one thing I want to bring up is the two things. One thing is taking for granted. What does that mean? And two, motivation. So let's go with the second one first. So a lot of times we may set a goal to do something like, say, I'm gonna my 5 year plan, or even if it's like my plan to go to the gym for the next 30 days, or 3 times a week workout, or cook home meal prep, uh, 3 days out of the week, or whatever the case. And sometimes it's you wonder how people who are successful and consistent do it, and how they got to where they got to, because it's not just an automatic thing. And I will say that the idea of one thing I learned is the idea of having things to look forward to, not just, oh, I have 2 weeks of vacation to look forward to at the end of the year. So I'm going to do 50 weeks of misery. And then 2 weeks, I'm going to have a vacation that I'm going to enjoy. Is That's not helpful to the human condition if you want to be healthy. But I invite you to think about something that you enjoy. It can be anything. It doesn't, no judgment, just it can be a TV show. It could be a drink. I'm not just talking about alcohol. It could be, like a spritzer or a little, I have a little uh, seltzer waters that are unflavored. What do they call those? I forget. Anyway, those things. It could be tea, coffee. It could be taking a walk for yourself, taking yourself out to the movies. Just different things that you could do one of these things at least once a day as little rewards toward what you're doing. So let's say you want to organize your files. That would be the end of what you do. Let's say in the middle of organizing your files, you say, I'm gonna chat with my friend for 15 minutes on the phone, right? That's you enjoy chatting with your friend. Whatever it may be. Even those of us who are addicted to social media, use that as a reward, something like I can't wait to scroll through Instagram for 15 minutes, right? But after you do something you're supposed to do. So instead of having a massive reward at the end of the road, the concept is to have little miniature rewards along the way. because even it keeps you motivated and keeps you going. Because putting off of especially big workload to the end and then a massive push and then getting it done, it feels good to get it done, but then you're so exhausted that you don't really get to enjoy the fruits of your labor because you've used all your energy just grinding through. You know, we say, especially in New York, so I gotta grind, I gotta grind. What happened to just smoothly flowing? When things grind, it's the idea that it's going wrong. At what point do you want to be driving the car? It's like, man, the whole time I was driving here, I heard a bunch of grinding under the hood. It's grinding my gears, right? That's not ever good. Grind. So let's not grind anymore, people. Let's flow. Let's flow and go and also take breaks. Because when you start to grind, that's the indication that you need to stop, lubricate, pay attention, appreciate, celebrate. Yeah. Mini celebrations. HT Lovejoy says, greetings, Feel Good Talk family, positive vibrations. Yeah, mini as in MINI, small celebrations and positive vibrations. If I was going to title this show, I'd title it that. Mini celebrations. I just didn't come up with that till just now. But you have to have small celebrations of yourself. Little things you like to do. Even just reading a few pages of a book that you're reading. Just do it. You don't have I'm gonna wait till I'm finished all this work and I'm gonna read the book in one sitting. Like, no. Read 10 pages every day. Read 10 minutes every day. In the middle of your work. You can take a break and do that. Breaks are really, really good. I'll tell you that. I'm a piano teacher, and what I do with my students, not just in piano, but this is an overall study tip. But what we'll do is, if the lesson's an hour long, every 12 to 15 minutes, we'll take like a 2 to 3 minute break. So we just play. As soon as they do something good, I'm like, all right, take a break. It doesn't matter what they do on the break. Hopefully, nothing related to piano. Because what happens is, if you take 4 breaks in an hour, what your brain is registering is 4 sessions, right? 4 stops and 4 goals. Like you stop, so you started the session, let's just say, make an even number, like 1 o'clock. 1:15, you took a break. You come back at 1:16, 17, 18. Then 1:30, you take a break. You come back at 1:32, 1:33. 1:45, you take a break. You come back at 1:47. Then 2 o'clock, you're done. But it seems like you've got a couple sessions in there. Like, no, it's one big session with little breaks in between. In the break, you drink some water. In the break, you stretch. In the break, you go on TikTok. I don't recommend that. Just drop the phone on my foot. See, that's what happens when you talk about it. Walk around, I gotta take a break. All right, scratch that from the record. Don't go on TikTok on your break. Just do something that play tic-tac-toe, maybe. Go and like I said, read the pages in your book. Go and text somebody that you were thinking of them, whatever. Let's go to the comments. Take a break. Take a break and go to the comments. HT says positive vibrations. Joy lives in says good afternoon, Love 101 family. Happy to be here with everyone. Heart, thank you. And she also says you grind your teeth and it breaks them down. Grinding isn't good, it breaks you down. That's the next comment. And can we go to the next comment after that? So, in any case, when we get there, we'll get there. So, yeah, no, grinding is not good for the health. It's not good for the mechanics or the machinery. Not good for anything. Let's not grind. Yeah, so I should say about grinding breaks you down. And said I like the idea of flowing, and along with the flow comes the ebb. All right, trying to be poetical over here. Ebb and flow, yes. Thank you very much. Joy lives within, because it's okay to cause some. Because even when you're in a creative space and you're flowing and you're going and your creative juices are flowing, and at some point you got to stop, or people have what's called like writer's block. I'm not inspired or whatever. That's the time you should not be doing. You should be taking a break. You should be in the ebb. You should be like, all right, it's not flowing, so let's not force it. Let's take a break and then come back to it. And sometimes just making yourself sit down and do, like, so, I write. So writing, when you more so put yourself in the position, in the mindset of, I give myself permission to whatever comes out right now will probably never be seen by anybody, even me again. I'm just going to write a page, just going to write whatever on this page. And in that, maybe if you write 100 words, then would be ones you keep. Maybe not. Maybe 100 of them, maybe 30 of them, maybe 0 of them, but you got to make it all okay either way. It's the pressure that makes it hard. All right, Kendall says, hi, listening while building courses, smart things. But when it comes to the idea of motivation or things you enjoy, I reject the idea that rest needs to be earned. It feels so much better to enjoy along the journey. Yes, bro. Yes. Thank you for saying that, because when it comes to the idea of motivation or things you enjoy, yeah, that talking about healthy motivation, right? Because you can be like, no, I'm gonna push through, I'm gonna grind, no pain, no gain, and all that. It's like, not necessarily. Hold on. You can gain without pain. You can learn without without going to the school of hard knocks. There are other schools, right? The schools of other people's hard knocks. Like, oh, what happened to you when you abused alcohol? Oh, that. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I shouldn't abuse it myself. Do I have to abuse it myself to find it? Maybe not. Okay, I can learn from other people's mistakes. Oh, and it wasn't just you. Is that like an epidemic of people who abuse substances that their life turns to, you know what? That their relationships break down, that they just deteriorate? Option one, abuse substances and alcohol and see what happens to me, because I think I'm special and it probably won't happen to me. See if I'm the one person on the planet, on the history of human beings, that it won't happen to. Or two, be like, no, I'm not special. It happened to every single body else who did it. It's probably going to happen to me, so let me not do it. Let me not abuse it. I didn't say don't use it. I just said don't abuse it. So you know what happens to the people, and you're not special. I mean, nobody else, not special. So moving on, back to that idea, Hema said reject the idea that rest needs to be earned. That's messed up, right? It's like, why would you have to earn something that you need? Period, right? Just something you need. You look at any other creature outside of humans, you don't see them on unemployment and on food stamps and on we can't afford rent to stay in this tree today. Squirrels, birds, got the secret squirrel, Social Security fund. See, see all the other squirrels in the tree, like just chilling and whatnot. And then you see that one little family of squirrels on the side, like, well, you couldn't afford to pay for the rent on that limb of the tree, so we sit down here and cry. Like, you don't see that. You don't see any ant, any any cat, any animal. I'm not talking about domesticated ones. They just as bad as us, you know. Talking about the wild animals, they don't have these issues. Like, you go for a walk or in the park and see a bird, like, bird, what you doing? Like, I'm just sitting out here begging for change. They will. I mean, I'm talking about New York birds and squirrels. It's different. They will beg for change. They'll take that change and go right to the store and get themselves a cigarette. I'm talking about the regular animals. But all right, Dreddy Gal says, greetings, love doctor and feel good talk. Family, what about if we started with a regular, consistent periods of rest and then added moments or periods of work? Instead of thinking about work as a baseline and the rest, interruptions, what about rest as a baseline and the consistent foundation? I missed that part. Consistent foundation with the work interruptions. That's a good way of thinking about it. I can't see me because she's giving her traditional whole dissertation. So yes, it's a good idea. I'm just trying to see. I can't, I got my face. All right, we can take it down now because we can't both exist on the screen at the same time. I've decided. So rest as the baseline and work as the interruptions. Because whoever said that you have to work, again, back to what I was saying, what animals do you see goes to a job? They do work for themselves, they take care of themselves, but in terms of going to a job at these hours, just like we set our schedule by work, most people are like, well, what hours do you work? Where we start asking each other, what hours do you rest? And maybe we could schedule time in between those hours for everything else. Jace Gale says it wasn't that long. Well, I guess that's up to everyone else to decide. But yeah, what have we said? What time are you resting today? Because that's not the time I want to interrupt you or schedule. I want to schedule between those hours of rest and when you're available, or we just say when you're available. But for the individual, we say what time am I resting, then what time am I working, and then what time am I scheduling other things. Depends on what you prioritize. I have a friend who she called it a social calendar. She said, I don't put anything on my calendar except things that I like. So she likes socializing. So she has a social calendar and then all the stuff on there for social stuff she has on there, and then the work and everything else she just doesn't even put on the calendar. So anyway, the idea that, again, rest, let's look at the idea of rest and sleep real quick. So rest is for the mind and sleep is for the body. Start there. So I say that because we've all had times when we slept and woke up unsettled and not feeling rested, even though our body woke up tired pretty much. And we've had times when we didn't get sleep or that much of it. And we may have been working on a project or playing on a project or hanging out with people we enjoy or whatever. And it's just like you don't feel tired. Like you have energy in your body, in your mind. You're stimulated and you're not tired. And you may get some sleep and wake up. You may not even get as much as you normally get and still feel refreshed. So clearly that shows that we can access and receive energy in more ways than just the physical shutting down of the body and in waking up, which it needs, of course, for its own repair and maintenance. As long as you're staying hydrated and nourished. What I'm also saying is that if you're going to sleep and you don't have some kind of practice to ease your mind, your sleep is not going to be the highest quality. And also, if you're not getting enough sleep, period, and you could be doing everything else right, exercise, nutrition, hydration, but you're not getting enough sleep, giving your body time to sleep, then that's also not loving and not helpful. So I was going to talk about some other stuff that are like early human history stuff, but let's leave that alone, and let's talk about again, sleep and rest. So if you prioritize rest, can you rest, meaning feel refreshed by dancing, by listening to music, by having a great conversation, by taking a walk, by exercising, by doing yoga, by stretching, by eating good food, having good company, by creating something, writing, journaling, appreciating. And when you expand your definition of rest to not just closing your eyes and physically falling asleep, and there's so many ways to find rest. So back to what I was saying in the beginning of this conversation about rewarding ourselves with things that we like in the midst of our journey and towards our goals and stuff. Let rest be the baseline, and also the things you like add to that rest. Let it add to those feelings of fulfillment, and celebrate every small victory. Like if you're writing 20 pages and you finish the page, celebrate that. You finish 2 pages, finish 3 pages. You're reading, you finish a few pages, right? Landmarks. among along the way. So, any other questions? Oh yeah, I think Jerry Gal has another soliloquy for us. Let me get ready. Hold on. I'm ready. I'm ready for it. Let's go for this next comment of Jerry Gal. See if I have enough energy to take it on. All right. Whenever you're ready, put it up. In the meantime, what was the other thing I said I was talking about? Yes, taking for granted. So I want to expand the idea of taking something for granted. So, oh shoot, too much, knock me down. I wasn't ready. I was ready when I was ready. Hold on. Now I'm okay. Okay. All right. I worked out yesterday, so I can do this. Just like you should pay yourself first, thinking along those lines, resting first for yourself, and then based on that schedule, then adding work. Oh, I need to take it. Whew. All right. All right. Come back. All right, and enjoying time with friends as meetings. So I don't think about meetings or joining with folks always as work meetings. So I am also saying to work folks that I'm away at meetings when I'm away just for fun too. I don't know. You know what? All right, I'm back. That's a good way of thinking, because if is it not on your schedule or part of your agenda when you're going out to meet people for play, for fun? Like, just because it's not a work meeting, is it not a meeting? You're still meeting up. You're still you still schedule the time. Still, is it not just as important? I'm not going to say more or less important, but isn't that at least just as important that we play as well as work? That we start talking about play and enjoying ourselves, even if it's just a meeting with yourself. Like, I got a meeting with my piano. I got a meeting with this book. Got a meeting with this show I'm trying to finish watching, right? But we just like I started off saying, relationships, the word is only stymied into this whole classification of romantic relationships. Meetings, oh, I got a meeting. It's like, oh, so that means you're doing something in a transactional relationship with other people, to having a conversation about making money or doing some kind of consultation or something that you do to make money. And that is a meeting. You could just have a meeting at the spa to get your feet done, right? Or a massage appointment. You're still meeting with the masseuse, aren't you? So I think we should take that. I don't know if everybody can handle that comment, the size of it, but I think the part of it that was saying, like, taking meetings as not just work meetings, but being away for fun can also be a meeting. I got this 5-day vacation meeting. I'll be available 5 days. All right, so I said this. Oh, it's 4:44. This is going to be a short show. I'm going to wrap up in the next 10 minutes. I just wanted to mention this comment. Oh, shoot, got me. Okay, we read that one. Yes. If everybody sees on your screen the Dreddy Gal commentary again about the meetings. So I'm going to say, okay. What is taking for granted something new? Well, the granted we're talking about is not like a granite countertop, marble, or quartz. We're talking about granted, like it's granted that you're going to, the sun is going to rise from the east or whatever. Like, you think that's going to happen. You expect it. You set your clock by it, right? That's granted. That's a happening. That's an occurrence. That's something you count on. There we go. Something you can count on. Taking something for granted is something you can count on. And if someone has another definition to help me out with this, that would be helpful, because I'm just trying to find other ways to navigate this whole taking for granted situation, because it's become kind of just a saying that we say. But when you take something as I can count on this happening, when it comes to reliability, like, okay, you know, my train is gonna stop, at the station that I wanted to stop at, or come on time, or my Uber's gonna drop me off, or my food is gonna be the supermarket is gonna have the stuff stocked. Like, it's nice to be able to rely on things, but when it comes to relationships with individuals, and you're talking about counting on this happening, reliability is one thing, and it's a sign of character, right? When people are able to communicate what's going on in their schedules and meeting up and all that stuff. And also, how does it feel if let's say, you were cooking for someone, and HD says expectation. So, right, so you're cooking for them 9 days in a row, and the 10th day you didn't cook for them. They came looking for food, and you're like, no, I don't have food. They're like, what? I thought you were cooking for us or cooking for me. And like, well, the last times I was cooking, I was choosing to cook for you, and now choosing not to. It's like, oh, but I thought you were going to cook. It's like, because you thought, and there's the word there, expectation, because you expected it to happen, and now you're a disappointment. Expectation, by the way, is the mother of grievances. It is premeditated grievances waiting to happen. And okay, oh, Aunt Deb, hey, how you doing? Says hello, love Dr. Aunt Debbie stopping by. So you expect something to happen, and then it doesn't happen, and then you're upset. How does it feel to be on the receiving end of that? Meaning you've done something for someone because you wanted to, and then you didn't do it, or you didn't do it the way they wanted, or when you wanted, and now they have a grievance with you, although you don't work for them, right? You don't. It wasn't part of your contract. It's not a transaction relationship. Like, I, you know, uh, let you stay with me for a few days, and it turned into a few weeks because I chose to. Every single day I made another choice. Okay, you can stay another night, stay another night, stay another night. Or I gave you food because I just wanted to feed you, or I made the food, or I cleaned up after you because I wanted to. But then it's like, I think that's a good one. The cleaning part. Let me go. Let me just cycle back around and use this as an example. A cleaning thing. But I think this hits humans a lot harder than the other stuff, right? Because cleaning is like, it just comes across as a straight insult. It's like you, funny, I had a relationship, my aunt and late uncle. She used to, he was the most tidiest person ever. And she would come in the house, let's just say, like, she would have a bunch of stuff. She would just walk in the house after a long day and be like, drop all her stuff. As she's walking up the stairs, just drop it all off. Like, this is an extreme example, but it worked for them because they had an understanding. She just drop everything, and because he liked everything tidy, and he don't care. He's like, all right, we'll just take this, put it over here, take a jacket, hang it up, and just go about his business. So in their relationship, it was not toxic; it was healthy because they had this understanding. But imagine that, like, imagine that you live with someone, you could be roommates, whatever, right? And you don't have an understanding outside of the point. It's like, if your mess, you clean it, my mess, I clean it, right? You clean your mess, but then this person leaves a mess. They leave dishes in the sink, they leave, trash, they leave, stuff spilled or stuff out and that needs to be put away. And you put it away a few times, and then you notice that this just keeps happening. Keep happening. And HD says, now it's your job to do this. And how does that feel, right? Because on their side, they're like, I come into the house and it's always clean, so I can just take stuff and just whatever, leave it, and then I come back, it's gonna be put away. I was reading the book, I didn't put it back on the shelf. I, took some stuff out and left it there. I spilled some stuff, left some napkins, left my clothes there, left the garbage in the garbage, left plates in the sink, all that, didn't replace, and then, but because the other person's gonna do it, that it's, you take it for granted, right? And now, how does that feel on that side of it? Where it's like, okay, well, I've been doing this not because I like doing it or want to do it for you, but I like a clean space. You keep dirtying the space, and now you're taking my gift of cleaning after you for granted, and that's dangerous in any kind of relationship. It doesn't matter how close you are or whatever. It's just dangerous. The expectations that someone's going to show up every time, that you can count on them to pick up the phone, if you can that you expect them to give you food because they have food, or invite you in because they have space, or whatever the case. It's theirs. It's their time, it's their space, it's their energy, it's their phone, it's their money, it's their resources. It's all theirs. You have people with lack mindset. You're like, oh, this person has so much money, and I just asked for a little bit. But so much of whose money do they have? Their own money. They have so much of their own money. If you have a house with 100 rooms and you're by yourself in that house, it's still how much it's your house, right? And then the person's like, you have 100 rooms. You can't just let me have one of them. It's up to them, right? It's up to them. You know, in New York, a lot of people only have one room or half a room, and you're still sharing that with a roommate. You can't keep your side of the half of the room, your quarter of the room clean. Like, come on, it's too much. It's abusive, as HT said. It's absolutely abusive. So I just wanted to shift the mindset around it. As it doesn't mean you have to every day, every moment be like, I'm grateful for you, I appreciate you, I thank you for blah 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 blah. But to not express sentiments or actions that indicate that you expect this person to show up a certain way. I know I took the car out that we share, and I know I didn't put any gas in it, and I put it down to E, but I know when they get it, they're going to put gas in it. Why? Because that's $50, $60, $70 I don't have to spend, right? If you're getting that premium, that's $100 I don't have to spend. It's abusive. It's an attack. We talked about that on Callie Show's show last week about financial abuse and different forms of that. And then I'm gonna end with this. We got like 2 minutes. It comes down to you as an individual stating your boundaries. Like, so having boundaries there are three parts of it. Deciding what those boundaries are. Let's just say with the car. If the tank gets below half, whoever is using the car, fill it up. That's the boundary. Communicating that boundary. So saying to the other person who uses the car, the tank is below half, whoever's in it when they see it below half, fill it up. And then enforcing or creating consequences when that boundary is breached, and it will be breached. Say, all right, if you don't put money in, if I get in the car and it's below half, you got to give me $40, right? You have to give me money to fill it, or whatever I paid to fill it up in the tank. You have to give that back to me, right? Or you don't get to use the car. Simple. Or you cook, I clean. I cook, you clean. Or if you use a dish, you clean it. You live together. I use a dish, I clean it. That way, clean as you go. Different rules and boundaries that just keep things going easily instead of taking for granted things. And there's a couple more comments. Petty Gal says, pretending to be Izzy. Hello, Aunt Debbie. Thanks for joining. Not bad Izzy impression. Thank you, Petty Gal. And HT says, decide on boundaries, express and consequences. So there are 3 steps. So you decide what your boundaries are. And again, boundaries have to do with other people, not yourself. Standards, that's yourself. So you can have a standard for your own hygiene. Like, I want to be clean. I want to shower every day. That can be your standard for your hygiene. You can't have a standard for another person. They say they're going to shower once a month. You can't tell them you got to shower once a day if you're going to be around me, at least once every 2 days. You have to say, all right, my standard is I don't like being around people that are funky like that, and I'm going to not be around you if that's the case. But that's not a boundary necessarily if it has to do with like their hygiene. If your hygiene is your standard, their hygiene, that's on them. But your boundary in that relationship could be, I don't want to be around you if you stink. So I'm gonna be over here until you clean yourself. Like no disrespect, but I also don't want to be smelling all that. So that's how you, because you can't enforce that, or you can't. What I mean is you can't make them wash. That's why, unless it's your child or something. So you can't make them wash. So you have to decide what you're going to do instead of complaining about it. Know that you can't change anybody and decide what you're going to do instead. Aunt Deb says, boundaries have to be discussed before commitments are made. Huh, how about that? Sounds like somebody who has experienced something or the other. And then she says, before moving or living together. I would hope so. Especially before moving in together and then COVID happening. And then COVID just brought the truth out about a lot of relationships. Let me just tell you, y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. All right, we're about done. Thank you for listening. Appreciate you. And until next time, thank you for joining me for this short take, Love 101 special. Special, not special. Y'all are the ones who make this show worth doing and existing. I'm just here to hold space and facilitate. And also remember, this is a space where you can express yourself. There's no right or wrong, good or bad. It's just we're trying to broaden our way of thinking. So a few things we can take out of this, like the expectations, the ebb and flow, joy lives within, the rejecting the idea that rest should be earned by Kindle, the interruptions in work rather than rest by Freddie Gell, taking meetings with whatever it is that you want to do, call it a meeting. Man, I gotta go and get a shape up. That's my meeting. It's my meeting later today. I gotta see my barber. All right. And all right, who's that? Sharman Mitchell says, good afternoon, everyone. First time listener. What's the topic today? Well, is it Sharmon or Sharman? Not sure. Mitchell. Thanks for joining. We're just ending the show. The topic today was pretty much expectations, taking for granted how to reward yourself along the way to accomplishing something, motivating yourself, and taking rest and having boundaries for yourself in relationships. You can listen back to this show when it's uploaded to YouTube, probably about. Oh, Sharmon, you said it. Okay, thank you, Sharmon. So you can listen back to the recording. It'll be processed probably within 20 minutes after we end the broadcast, which will be in a few seconds because I have to go. So thank you all for joining. Until next time, peace. And please join us next Wednesday at 7. Sharmon and everyone else. Till next time. Take a break. We still on? Okay. Y'all still on. I gotta go. Okay. So let's end the broadcast. Or if I just leave, then that'll be another thing too. Just waiting for the screen to end, but it's not on the right side. I'm a secret and go to my next movie.